Earlier, we did UGC NET law paper analysis of law paper 2. So, those who missed that opportunity, that video is available on the YouTube. So, today, in this particular analysis, we will tell you the difficulty level of the examination, what was the new questions that been asked, and what were the past year paper that past year question paper that were included in this particular question paper. Also, we'll discuss the answer key, which is released by NTA UGC. We'll do that today. Also, we have a little surprise for you guys. We'll tell you about that in the mid of this session today. And if anybody would be having query, we'll take queries in the end of the session. So today, as a speaker, we have with us Arpana Sachdeva. She's an academician and associate at Law Seco. I welcome you, Arpana. And without any further delay, let's quickly start with analysis. Over to you.
Thank you, Anu. Thank you, Anu, for the warm welcome. So today we will going to analyze questions which came in September 2020 uh, in shift 1 of law paper. So let us discuss that how many questions were there in which which unit, and the difficulty level of that particular question, and how many questions have been repeated from the past year question papers. As from law, we have paper 2, we have seen that there were not much questions which are repeated from the past year question paper. So as we also analyzed this thing previously, that UGC has changed the pattern which used to be there, right? The CBSE used to conduct the paper. So let me share my screen and we will discuss the question paper. Is the screen visible, Anu?
Yes.
Yes. So before going through all the questions, I would like to tell you how many questions came from which unit. So from teaching aptitude, there were 5 questions. Earlier also there used to be 5 questions from teaching aptitude. So there was no changes in that. Then in research aptitude, there were 4 questions. Generally 5 questions were being asked, but this time there were 4 questions from research aptitude. Then in comprehension, as usual, 5 questions were there from the passage, and the same pattern was followed by UGC. And then in communication, sorry, in communication there was only 2 direct questions from communication, and other questions from communication were basically based on logical reasoning. They have used logical reasoning pattern, and they have asked communication questions, so they have mixed 2 units together. So if we say in general that there were only 2 direct questions from communication, then in mathematics and reasoning, there were 6 questions. So that make this paper more scoring, because these type of questions from mathematics and logical reasonings are the scoring questions. If your answer is correct, then if your calculation is correct, then you will get 2 marks from that for that question. So from mathematical reasoning, there were 6 questions, and for logical reasoning, there were 9 questions. As I mentioned, that they have mixed logical reasoning and communication together at this time. Then in ICT, there were 4 questions. Previously, there were 5 questions. There was a pattern that 5 questions from every unit, but this time the pattern has been changed. So this time, from ICT there was only 4 questions. Then people development and environment, there were 5 questions as usual. And from higher education, there were 5 questions. And from data interpretation, there was 5 questions as usual. There was a table, and accordingly they have asked the questions based on that. So let us uh, look into this, what were the questions and what are the correct options for that. Now, the first question was from logical reasoning. This see the question numbering may change, because when the question they asked, the pattern has been changed. We are using ICT pattern for the asking question paper. So every person has a different chronology of questions. So the question paper which I got, uh, the chronology of that question paper is this. So the first question is from logical reasoning. It was a very simple question. I would not, mark it as a difficult question. So it was very easy. You got a two statement, and you have to analyze these statement, and you have to mark that is the question, is the statement is true or false, or both the statements are true or false. Which statement is true or false? So this was the first question. And when we go to the next question, sorry. The next question was also from data logical reasoning, and this question was also, I will mark it into an easy one. It was not a difficult question. It was assertion and reasoning. And assertion and reasoning, the first thing we do when we start logical reasoning is assertion and reasoning, because there are many questions based on assertion and reasoning. So this was also an easy question. I will mark it very easy. So, and of course, when we prepare for law, we also tend to have these type of questions in law also, the assertion and reasoning based questions. Then the third question was on research aptitude, and it was on sampling method. So it was, I will also mark it to, it is an easy question, that it was an easy question, and there was no much difficulty answering it, because we just have to mention the qualitative research um, paradigm which will be followed by sampling method. So if you have a studied sampling method, then this question was a very easy for anyone to attempt it. It was a direct question. Then the next question was also from research aptitude, and this question I will mark it into a moderate question, because you know here you have to mention and identify the statement based on the characteristics of qualitative research. So the options which have been given here over here are a little confusing, so I will mark them into a moderate question, not a difficult question that too, but a moderate question, not easy also, but a moderate. The next question we have is on teaching aptitude. I will mark this one into an easy one, because it was a very easy question, directly asked and they have given an example and asked us what is based on what kind of feedback it is. So it is a easy question. It is a direct question. Then again, there was a research aptitude question, and that was a match the following question. So I will also mark this question as a moderate one, because match the following are a little bit difficult. But if you know one or two options, then you can use elimination method, and you can answer this question very easily using the code given below. So I will mark it into a moderate, because the options given below, the code given below is little confusing, because most of them are not repeated. So generally what we see that if A is matching with 3, then we have one or two options which have these things. But this time they have this confusing code, so I will mark this into a moderate question, not into an easy question. Then again, we have a research aptitude based question, and this was based on assertion and reasoning. And it was an easy question, because it was directly asked about the evaluation part, and evaluation is a little easier part when we talk about teaching aptitude. So I will mark it into a very easy question. Then the next question we have is of research aptitude, and I would mark this question into an easy question, because this was a direct question which they asked on methods of research, that what method is where there is manipulation of independent variable and control of extraneous variable are neither possible nor direct. So this was a easy question. So you can answer this question very easily. It was not a difficult question. Now the next question is also the match the following. As in law also we have seen that there were many match the following questions. So this time also in paper one also there were match the following questions. So they have tried to cover most of the part of the syllabus by these kind of question of match the following. So I will mark this into a moderate question because there are new some new terms, behavior teaching, and it was a new term and their description. Generally we do not tend to go through these topics while preparing for UGC net, so I will not mark it into easy, I will mark it into moderate, because if you just take you will just make a general analysis and just read the question thoroughly, then you can easily answer this question by using the elimination method. So this was a very easy question. Now, next question was of teaching aptitude, and this was a repetitive question from the past year question paper. They have taken exactly from the past year question paper. So, and I will mark it into an easy question because we generally tend to study cognitive domain very in detail while preparing for teaching aptitude. So I will mark it into an easy question. And of course, if we have gone through all the past year question papers, then we can easily answer this question because this has been repeated previously. Now we have a comprehension for this. The comprehension was not much lengthy, but generally when we start with comprehension, we generally use, we should follow this method that we should first go through all the questions which are available for the comprehension and then go and read the passage. So all the comprehension questions were easy and directly asked from the passage, so it was not a difficult question. And if you go through the uh, passage was also not that much difficult, and it was basically based on human behavior and the nature of human behavior. So it was not a difficult one. And here we have also, they have connected with cognitive domain and the skills of this person, the psychomotive skills of the person, and also with the uh, emotional skills of the emotional side of a person. So how these three things affect the behavior of human being. So this was, I would mark comprehension into easy one. So generally, while going through paper one, I found that there was not much difficult question. Paper one was comparatively very easy from paper two. So yes, it was an easy one, and the questions were asked directly. So there were 5 questions, as I previously mentioned, that there were 5 questions from comprehension. So these were the 5 questions from the comprehension. Now the next question is from communication, and I would mark it into a moderate question because uh, psychological barrier has been asked for the affected domain and affected communication. And generally we just we have this tendency that we have or study many types of barriers in affective communication, and while studying those there are we tend to get confused. But if we use the elimination method and read the question very easily, very carefully, then we could answer this question very easily. So I would mark it into a moderate question, not into an easy one. Now again we have a comprehension based question, and this was based on past year question paper and exactly taken from there. Match the following. There was type of communication and its characteristics, and this was a easy question because it was been asked previously, and before going to examination we should go through the past year question papers. So it was a easy question, and using elimination method we could answer this question very easily using these codes given below. The next question was based on communication, but it was assertion and reasoning, and let's slightly they have tilted it to logical reasoning. So this was a communication question, but You can also bifurcate it into a logical reasoning one. Next question we have for mathematics, and here we have to calculate the average speed. So if you have your calculations with you and you have practiced well, then this question was a easy question. So it is just based on your practice. If you have a good practice, then you have the correct option with you. So the correct option here was 37.5 kilometers. Now the next question is of higher education system, and this was a new question which was asked. This question, we generally do not, take, gives that much importance to the ancient education system. But here we have found that there was two questions based on ancient education system, and here are these. This is does the match the following, and this was a little confusing if you have not, gone through the uh, ancient education system of India. So I will mark it into a difficult one because generally we tend to overlook these type of topics while preparing. So I would mark it into into a difficult question. Then again we have a mathematical reasoning aptitude question, and this was a numbers letter series, and I will mark it into an easy one because it is very easy. There are only three numbers given, and it was very easy to answer. Then the next question is also mathematics based, and I will mark it into an easy one. If you have your calculations with you, if you have practiced your reasoning very well, then you can easily answer this question. So the answer for this question was 11 years. The son was, you know, son was of 11 year age, and while father was 30. Now the next question is of communication based and of teaching aptitude, that when we tend to study both these topics simultaneously and together. So I will mark it into a teaching aptitude question, but it is also a communication based question. So objective of meeting communication in a classroom is for, so this was a teaching aptitude question, but you can also relate it to communication. So for the communication unit, they have connected or different uh, units together. Now the next question is logical reasoning question. This is a statement and a second statement. Which statement is true, which statement is false, or both are true or both are false, and you have to analyze those and answer accordingly. So this was a logical reasoning based question, and it was, I would mark it into an easy one. Now then we have a next question which is also based on which is based on logical reasoning, and the same pattern has been followed. We have given two statements, and we have to see which statement is correct and which statement is wrong. So this was, I would categorize it into a moderate question, not a difficult question, because if you read these statements are a little confusing, but if you have practiced well, then these questions are not difficult for you. So I will not mark it into a difficult one, but into a moderate. Then we have next question on logical reasoning, and the same pattern, the same thing is repeated, that we have given two statements, and we have to see which statement is correct and which statement is false. So accordingly, we can answer the question, and I would mark it into a easy one because the statements are very generic, and you can just analyze the statement and answer it accordingly. Now, the next question is again a number series question. So what is the next number? I would easily mark this question into easy one, because number series and letter series are an easy one, because you just need to have this thing that how to calculate the next number, and you can easily calculate the next number. So I will mark it into easy one. Now the next is also based on mathematical reasoning, and here we have to calculate the rate of interest, and here also I will not mark it into a difficult or moderate one, easy one, because if you have practiced well, then you can easily answer the question. Now we have logical reasoning, and this was a question which has been repeated previously also. So, of course, previously asked question, I generally mark them into easy one because you tend to have this thing yet, right? That you should practice past year question papers and then answer it. So it was based on past year question paper, directly taken from the past year question paper. So I will mark it into easy one. Then again we have a logical reasoning question based on communication. So we have two statements and we have to analyze that which statement is correct and which statement is false. Then we have a data interpretation. So if you see the chart over here, the chart is like, it is not difficult one. Generally, if you see past year question papers, we have, you know, 5 to 6 series over there, and then we have 5 to 6 other columns of also. So we have good number of calculation to do. But this time, the data interpretation question, the chart was comparatively smaller, so the calculation was very easy because all the numbers are based, they have a zero behind them, so the calculation is also easy for us. So I would not mark data interpretation questions into difficult one. I would mark it into a moderate one because while calculating data interpretation questions, you need practice. If you have not practiced well, then if the question is small or big or whatever the case may be, it is difficult for you. So yes, I would mark it into a moderate one, not into a difficult one. So again, we have 5 questions based on data interpretation. So we will going to discuss all the questions, in our coming webinars in detail. Here we are just analyzing the questions. So I guess now the next question we have is of higher education, and the higher education. And this question I will mark it into a easy one because it was directly taken from the past year question paper. So it was a difficult question if it has not been asked earlier. It was a difficult question to answer. But it was asked earlier in past year question papers, then we have this, and we if you have seen such question, and they have just taken from the past year question paper, you can just answer this question very easily, and it was not a difficult one. Next question over here is of higher education again, and it was based on policies, governance, and administration. And we have to see, we have to uh, analyze we remember the years of all the committees which has been formed, or all the statutory bodies which has been formed for the higher education. So we should make a list, and if we have that list, then we can answer these questions very easily. So I will mark into a easy question over here. Now let us go and look into the next question paper. This was from People Development and Environment. I will mark it into an easy one, though it was a match the following question, but we have already studied all these agreements and protocols in our environmental law. So I do not think that it was a difficult one because we have already studied in a law paper, and this has been repeated over in first, second paper also. So it was not a difficult one. So I would mark it into easy because because we are studying the same thing in both the papers, so it make things more easier for us. Then the next question is based on ICT, and I would mark it a easy question, though I would mark it into a moderate one, but it has been repeated from the past year question paper. That is why it is an easy question, and I would not, see that, if you have not practiced it, then though it would be difficult. But if you have practiced past year question paper, then this was a very easy question to answer. Then again, we have a logical reasoning question, and logical reasoning over here is, assertion and reasoning ways. So if you see a logical reasoning questions, there only two types of question has been asked from logical reasoning, and they have just totally ignored the Indian logics which has been, recently added. So it was assertion and reasoning question. I would mark it into a moderate question. It was not difficult question. Uh, you have a statement and a reason given below, and accordingly you have to mark that is the reason for the first statement is correct or not, or the statement is correct or not, or the session which is given is correct or not, or the reasoning is correct or not. So I will mark it into a moderate one. Now we have a next question which is based on people development and environment, and I will mark it into an easy question because it has been already asked to us in the previous year question paper. So it was an easy question. It was not a difficult question because yes, the same reason we have to we should always practice past year question paper before starting our preparation. So it was a easy question accordingly. Now the next
Now,
question, yes.
okay, let's take a break of 5 minutes, and let me just quickly share that surprise with my attendees. Okay, yeah, participants. So we at Law Seco has came up with our another workshop, and this time our workshop is related to the judiciary preparation. And in this, we'll tell you that how you actually need to start with your preparation, and how you can sustain that particular preparation for a longer time, and how you can get a sure shot marks into judiciary preparation. So this is the just prima facie points which I just discussed with you. Otherwise, we have a lot of points, like there's an agenda in the workshop, which Arpana will definitely share with you. Could you please share the screen? Yes, when after this particular announcement, I'll share with you guys a link, and that link, on that link you will go through on this particular link. So these are the particular things which you need to remember, that the date of the workshop is on 25th of November, and timing would be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also, there is a prerequisite which we have taken, that you need to register yourself for that particular workshop, and we have kept that very minimal amount, that is of 200 rupees. Yes, and in the end, we have discussed the agenda of the workshop, that how you need to start with the preparation, what will be the a strategy that you need to follow, what other states which you need to focus on. So you will find that particular thing at the bottom of the page. Also, we have faculties who will take this particular webinar, this particular workshop. So this is it, and please go and enroll for this particular workshop. It is of 200 rupees, so you can do that. Also, I'll share you the WhatsApp link where you will find the updates pertaining to the same. So this is it, and three things you need to remember: the date and time. That is, date would be 25th November, timing would be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, so this was it.
Yeah, thank you, Nandini. So please do register yourself for this workshop. It will definitely help you if you have the uh, goal of going into judiciary. So this will definitely going to help you a lot. So yes, we have a
Yes.
question over here. Uh, I don't know. It is for the. So let us discuss the first. Let us discuss this paper first, and then we will go through the questions asked by the participants. So the next question is based on noise pollution. It is based on people development and environment. I'm sorry if I have marked this thing wrong. It is people development and environment. So yes, this I will mark this question into a moderate one because generally we do not tend to, you know, we tend to ignore these type of questions. But if we see these minute things, then these type of questions are very easy for us. Then again, we have ICT based question. I will mark this question to very easy one because they have asked how the speed of internet is measured, and this in the pandemic time, we know this, how much importance speed of internet is. Then we have higher education system question, and it is based on ancient education system, and they have asked that these two uh, it's these two person has visited Nalanda University in which century. So I will mark into a moderate question, not into easy question, because generally we tend to forget the dates and the names of the people. And we when we study the ancient system, we just study when the Nalanda University was established, how it was and how it was destroyed, and we do not tend to study the main events of it. So generally people ignore these type of questions. So I will mark it into moderate one, not into difficult also. Next also we have a people development question, and it is also based on assertion reasoning. And yes, I would mark it into an easy one because it was very easy question which was being asked. The statements are very easy, so I would mark it into easy. Then we have the higher education system, and it was a question which has been asked previously. So it is based on past year question paper, so I will mark it into an easy question. It was based on statements, and which statement is true, which statement is false. And if you have just gone through the past year question paper, it would be an easy question because it has been directly copy pasted from the past year question paper. So I will mark it into an easy one. But though if it has been not asked in the past year question paper, it was a difficult question to answer. Then again, we have a higher education system. It was also a past year question paper, which has sorry. Again, we have a ICT based, and you have to give the full form of GIF, and it is an easy question, but it has been already asked in past year question paper. So though both, if it has not been asked, I will mark it into easy one, and if you know as it is being asked from the past year question paper, so that's why I will categorize it into easy one. So both the way it is an easy question to answer. Then we have again an ICT based question, and it has been all asked previously. So I will mark it into an easy question, not into a difficult one. So yes, it is a easy question because it been asked previously. Then again, now we have a people development and environment question. I would mark it into a difficult question because yes, because it is very difficult to remember these type of things. And, thermal reaction, product energy of fusion or following nuclear fuels. So yes, it is a difficult question. I would mark it into a difficult question. It was a difficult question to answer. Now, then the last question over here, we have matched the following from people, development, and environment. And I would mark it into a moderate one because yes, it was a cat. They have given the categories of environment education objective, and they have given the example. So and see, these are remotely interconnected with each other, so they are little confusing, and the codes are also not that much clearly given that you cannot use the elimination method over here if you do not know one or two of the options. Then yes, it was a difficult question, so I will mark it into a difficult one. So this was all about the paper analysis of paper 1 of UGC NET, which was being asked in the law, in the shift 1, which was there. So, so while analyzing everything, I came to a conclusion. This was my own opinion that UGC have little changed the pattern which was previously there. So yes, uh, comparatively to the law paper, this paper 1 was easy one. So that was all about the paper analysis. If anyone have any questions, then just ask.
Okay, participants, if anybody has any question, you can ask.
So we have charts.
Yes, we have got one question on YouTube from Muthu Kumaran. And the attendees asking, have they announced the date for NET examination?
No, they have not yet announced the examination date. I guess after the the result, when they will announce the result tentatively in December, they will going to announce the result, and then they will going to announce the next date of 2021.
Right. Another question we are getting from Anup Dev, and the attendees asking last from where to get a last year question paper.
So you can Google it, or you can just visit our website for our landing page and enroll for our course. Here you will find all the past year questions from 2004 till now 2020 in the mock format. So yes, you can find over here, and you can Google them too. And there are books also which are available, but you will not find the question papers from 2004. You will generally find the past year question papers from 2010. So you will find 10 years, but not from 2004. That will be available with us. So you can join us and join our course, and just go through the landing page of our course.
Right. So participants, if anybody is having any doubt, we are giving 5 more seconds. So you can ask a query either on YouTube or on Zoom channel. And also, I'm just once again reminding all of you, we have came up with our workshop on judiciary preparation, where we'll discuss a step-by-step preparation strategies with you all. The main timelines are on 25th of November. This workshop will going to be held. The timing would be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and you have to register yourself for that particular workshop, and we have kept a very minimal amount of 200 rupees. So this was it. Also, I'm sharing a link regarding the same of a WhatsApp link where you will find more updates regarding the same. So you can see that link in the chat box, in the comment box of the section. Okay, I guess we have taken all the relevant queries, Arpana, and the session was very helpful for our participants.
Yeah, thank you, Anu.
Yes, so thank you participants for joining, and thank you Arpana for analyzing paper 1 and paper 2. And those who have missed paper 2, they can watch the video on the YouTube itself on our Law Seeker page. So thank you for joining, and thank you Arpana for joining. Now I'll sign off. Anu Bhatnagar, Webinar Executive.